All right, awesome. Welcome everybody back to Community with Closers. I got an amazing guest on tonight. We got Jim Burlison on the call. Jim, kind of explain, what you got going on, man.
Hey, Pat, how we doing tonight?
Doing awesome.
Good. What do I got going on, man? I got a little of everything going on, I guess. Big thing going on, right? Of course, the role that I play with Klaus Roofing and Gutter Shutter and Contractor Nation. You and I just spent 3 great days together. So
Yes.
had a great time over there in Connecticut with all the dealers across the country and the basement system side as well. Dr. Energy Saver, Klaus Roofing, Gutter Shutter. Did I leave anybody out? Man alive. I don't think I did. So yeah, I've got that going on. That's my full-time gig, right? That's what takes up, in any given week, anywhere from 40 to 50 hours of my time. Then I've got my, my business side, my business that I started a year ago, which is EPL Performance Coaching. And I got a half a dozen clients that I coach on a very fractional basis with that. So listen, it's all about helping entrepreneurs and salespeople get from where they are to where they want to be. And as you know, on the small business side, there are too many small businesses out there that are not making any money.
Yeah.
And usually you could tie it back to marketing and sales and marketing, whatever way you want to flip it. And there's too many salespeople living paycheck to paycheck. And I don't know about you, but I would not be in the game of sales if I was living paycheck to paycheck. I would choose a different profession.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So that's what's going on with me.
I love it, man. I love it. So I got to sit in on your class too at CN Live. Amazing. Just so many, like the feeling, the culture, like everybody was there was just pumped up, soaking up the energy. And it's cool to see other sales professionals, right? Like with Klaus Roofing and talking to those reps and what they're doing. And like just jumping on a call for everybody that's viewing is like jumping on something like this that you can take one nugget, right, and implement. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like there's so much information out there, YouTube, right? Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, wherever you're getting your info, but are you executing, right? And it's the speed of execution, right? How quickly can you implement those things, those tips, tricks, and then are you tracking them, right? And that's how we're going through. So we're talking about the 10 steps to a sale right now, getting past the logical, right? And talking about the emotional. And it was so cool. Like we've been doing, quotes the last couple of days here. And it's awesome to see, like, kind of from a third party, as you're teaching or training somebody, you're not in the weeds, right? So like when you're out training, you can see the body language. And I always talk about this a lot is like everybody has their good side, right? So when you go do a quote and you're asking them, hey, how was your buying experience? When was the last time you bought something of, pretty decent value? And in that is like their experiences, and they can tell you exactly what they're doing, right? Like how they bought, and you can go off of that. But you also got to look at too, like when you're looking at them like this, or are you looking at them from this angle? Because there's an angle that people, you can see they're like tense. They don't stand like that naturally. And we did that today. It was really cool to see. We just moved slightly over to the right, and guess what? That person was like comfortable, and you have to pick up on those cues, and it's so important.
Yeah, we often refer to those as people skills, right? There's different skills that you're going to develop as a salesperson that, for a lot of the guys and gals out there, it's only really going to come through this thing called frequency, right? It's not like that you're going to go to a 3-week boot camp with your company and learn everything about the product, become a subject matter expert, and then learn everything about the process. And then, you're in front of your first customer. And those people skills, those cues, the body language, right? It's when you turn to the left or turn to the right, you'll notice that the defense mechanisms, the wall just kind of breaks down, right? And everything we're doing, with a homeowner, if we're doing in-home sales, or whether if you're on this call and you're in retail sales, look, there's 2 thermometers. There's the customer acceptance and there's the customer resistance. And everything you're saying and everything you're doing is going to either raise the thermometer of resistance or it's going to raise the thermometer of acceptance.
So good.
And if for every degree you raise acceptance, you're decreasing a degree of resistance.
That's
And you
right.
got to pick up on those cues from the customer.
Yeah. And if you're not training for this, if you don't know these things, like you are missing out big time. If you're just going out to do the quote and you're expecting to get the sale, right? And you're not picking up on these. Like, let's talk about that a little bit, right? Because we're always improving on this stuff within the home. Like, are we getting to the kitchen table? And so when with that thermometer there, like, man, that's so much gold right there that you can just start practicing and tracking, but you don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. So like I learned, and I think you can touch on this too, Jim, is like I learned by looking at the customer, literally going back in my sales car at the end of the sale and like reviewing how can I do better the next time? Where was I standing? Because when you're in it, you're in it. You're thinking about the next thing. Okay, did I get all my paperwork? Did I explain to the customer properly that I'm setting this expectation? Like this is what it's going to be. Like what are you doing to review? And so that's a lot of my stuff is like just learning from the customer, but still there's things like even you can't learn from the customer that you don't know if you're not going to training, you're not pouring in and you're not role playing.
Yeah, absolutely. There has to be a sales culture within your organization. And if you
Mhm.
happen to be on this call and you work for a company that it's not a sales culture, that doesn't give you a free pass,
Yeah.
right? There's just too much information. There's too much content out there on the internet that's free. What we're doing right now is free, right? People can
Mhm.
log on and they can take, like you said, we're going to be on this call for 35, 40, 45 minutes. And if I was somebody on this call, I'm looking for that one word that you or myself is going to drop, that one sentence, that one aha moment where it's like, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And,
Mhm.
you said something earlier about, when you ask a homeowner, tell me about the last time you made a buying decision on something with your home. How did
Mhm.
that go? What was that experience like? And when they share with you how it went, what it was like,
Mhm.
dude, what they're doing is they're telling you exactly how to sell them. In fact, they're also telling you likely how to not sell them because the odds are they had a bad experience before. Because,
Yeah.
in-home contractors, they don't have the best reputation, right?
Yeah.
And, no matter what business you're in, whether you're in the soft wash business, whether you're in the concrete raising business, waterproofing business, roofing business, gutter business, when I hear, oh man, Jim, you don't understand all the competition out there, right? Dude, the competition is an asset to you. It's not a liability.
Amen.
You're looking at it all the wrong way. Oh, they're getting 10 estimates. Well, then they're going to get 8 guys that suck, one guy that's good, and you just got to be better than the good.
Yeah.
You know,
So true.
yeah, yeah,
Man, I love that too because like when we go into a market, we advertise like nobody else, right? So like the leads come in and if they get 3 quotes, that's fine. I have competitors in some of our markets that are like, "Pat, did you stop flyering? Did you stop marketing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we had to lay down. Like we got so many quotes coming in." They're like, "Dang it, my leads have slowed down." And then when I start marketing, everybody starts to get busy. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's fun. Like you got to make it fun. And we have really good competitors and and guys in the industry that are local and we pass leads to them. We all work together. It's just that mindset.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm there yet with passing leads on to a competitor, but we'll have to talk about that off topic, off this set. But yeah,
Yeah.
look, the reality is, right? So, I spent 24 years in the car business, highly competitive business.
Hmm.
There, still to this day, I've never seen a business so competitive. Same product, same color, same make, same model, same warranty, 8 miles away. Same
Hmm.
color, same product, same make, same model, 8 miles away. Then I moved into the home improvement side of things, and when I walked in, the naysayers, right, the ones who wanted to get into my head, man, you don't understand this business. It's so competitive, and I'm like, dude, I'll figure that out on my own. I don't need you to tell me that. I'll figure it out. What I found out was the competitors, like I said, they were my asset.
Hmm.
They're going in. They have no roadmap to their sales process. They're winging it. They haven't
Hmm.
developed their people skills. They haven't committed to training. So, you know, from the company view, the 10,000 foot view, maybe it's competitive for them to get me leads, because there's more contractors out there. But as a salesperson, look, you're going up against two or three almost every time. You're not going up against 30 that are in your market. It's two or three. No customers calling, 30 contractors to come out and give them a quote to power wash their home, to raise their concrete, to waterproof their business.
Yeah. No, and you're dead on there, man. It's like you got to have the systems, you got to have the processes, and you got to train on it. That's what it boils down to. So what I'm going to do too, Jim, is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pull this up as far as the steps go. So I'm going to go to Google Slides. Let's see. You'd think I would definitely get this down by now, right? Share screen. And we're going to share out the 10 steps right here. And so it's pretty cool going through this series right here. So we're literally on step number 7. So we're talking about the pre-close. And like I said, we're just going to hone in on this because we got 30 minutes. And so what we're talking about, step number 7, is the pre-close. If you've not done everything prior to this, you have to go back and do it. You cannot ask the next question without having done all the previous stuff. So as you guys have been on here with this, like, Jim, you know how important it is to make sure you're following the steps, right? And like, if you don't do it all, you got to go back and you got to reiterate those things.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, look, when you're at step 7 or whatever your sales process is, when you're going into the pre-close or the close, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, Pat, you have to have earned the right to ask that. And I'm going to call that's the hard question. The easy question is, how long have you lived here? The easy question is, what concerns are you having with your house? The easy question is, can you show me the problem, right? The easy question is, how soon do you want to have it done? But the pre-close is that now it's going to start to get sticky. Mm-hmm. They're going to start to feel like, okay, I knew this was going to come. And you have to have done everything right prior to. So if you have a warm-up, what does your warm-up look like? We train our warm-up. It's a company story, personal story, and an agenda. Mm-hmm. What we're going to do with our time together. So that way the customer is not surprised with anything. It's going to be asking key relevant questions. And, our inspection, having the customer come along with us on our inspection, whether it's, in the attic or outside looking at the gutters or looking at the concrete, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But man, when you're at the pre-close, you have to ask yourself first, if you were the homeowner, are you ready to be closed? If you're not, you might want to loop back to some of the previous steps. Maybe you missed something in the presentation. Maybe you missed something with a check-in or a tie-down. Mm-hmm. Because, what do we don't want to hear in the pre-close, other than price or, affordable monthly payment. Are we ready to get your project started? No, I had no idea you were going to ask me that today.
Yeah.
Right. That hurts.
Yep. And that's why you gotta follow the steps. So like guys in the exterior cleaning industry, even like tree care, we got a bunch of people on here, different industries, right? And so as we go through these steps, it's that mindset of the homeowner, right? Like, are they ready to buy now? Because some services, right, they might think a month out, whatever it may be. So like you have to ask those questions. And in the previous steps, like, if you don't ask those, you got to go back every time, because then that's going to blow up in your face and you're like, whoa, what just happened? And so this is a pivotal moment, I would say, in your steps, in the 10 steps, is the pre-close. And I'm hoping everybody's understanding that, because Jim, you did a fabulous job of explaining that. It's just, you have to go back.
Yeah, the key is, when you get into the close, I would say that oftentimes, Pat, we're treating stalls like objections. Mm. And what happens is in the close, right, the deeper you're going into the closing trail and you're handling these stalls, and what would be, viewed as a lot of people as objections, once you get past 3 or 4, now it feels like pressure. Yeah. And if we would have handled that earlier, if we would have found that out earlier, handled it as what it was a stall, We handled it. Maybe it was even in the warm-up, we handled it.
Yeah.
What made you folks think about getting a new roof installed today? Well, we weren't looking to do it today, right?
Yep.
Well, we handled that earlier so that way we're not handling it later. We're not handling 4 or 5 at the same time later.
Yep.
There's really only one thing we want to handle at this point, right?
Yep.
One thing. Price.
Yep.
That's it. That at this point, that's what we should have it nailed down to.
Yes. 1000%. And that's where, the thing right here, right? Ask. So the other than price or payment, is there any reason we couldn't get your job scheduled today, right? And like you said, those stalls, right? Those all are already gone. So at this point, if you have went through all the steps, those are gone. We just want to get it down to price. And remember, we always talk about price. And when you roll out price, it better be fun. Because if it's awkward, and I can't see this, so many times I train reps and they're afraid. Remember, we're not our customer, right? Everybody has a number in between their eyes, but they get, and they're like, for $5,000, and they get scared of the price. You can't. You have to be confident. You have to have that tone, right? The tonality in there. That look, for just $5,000, we're going to get everything taken care of, and your worries are going to be gone. How does that sound? And then you shake your head. I know that'll work for you, right? And you get that buy-in from the customer. So I love this right here, because this is where the tension happens a lot of times, right? Is that pre-close, and then there's tension, and then you're like, oh, and then you get all like, I don't know what to do next, right? And it throws your whole game off. You have to be ready. You have to be role-playing and training for this time.
Yeah, at this point, Pat, you have to fully expect, we talked about the 2 thermometers earlier. You have to expect the customer acceptance thermometer to start to decrease a few degrees and the resistance to go back up a few degrees.
Yes.
And you've got to role play that. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be ways in which it starts to increase and decrease. They're going to respond with, like I said earlier, I wasn't looking to make a decision today. Well, unless I role play that with you, every single day of the week, mm-hmm. I'm not going to know how to respond. And like you said, keep it light, keep it fun. The customer should never be, more enthused than me, right? I need to arrive to the appointment ready to go. Yeah. This morning we did on our training, your sales process, no matter what you're selling, dude, you could be selling insurance sales. You can be selling real estate. You could be selling automobiles, power washing, waterproofing, roofing, gutters. Every customer is at a certain spot without you and without your product. That's why they called you. Mm-hmm. So we bring them through that journey, those steps. And at this point, the journey usually hits a fork in the road. And the fork in the road is they start to get a little uncertain again. Mm-hmm. Well, they're only uncertain because now you're asking them to take action on something.
Yeah.
That they know there's going to be dollars associated with that. Mm-hmm. And you haven't even shown the dollars yet. Yeah. But, if you and I now, at this stage in the game, I don't know how long your sales process is, but, if I'm in the home and I'm going to be presenting a $30,000 roof, right, at this stage in the game, I'm with you probably an hour and a half at this point.
Yeah.
So there should be some trust built, some rapport.
Agreed.
Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's, true too, is like the time in the home, right? Like people want to get in and get out. No, build that trust, because that's where it starts with, right? And you got to set yourself up in the very beginning as the expert and building that trust and, stacking the value too with everything you do. And so actually I got Larry. So hop in here, Larry. We got Larry. Check this out. Larry Janeski in the house.
It just got better.
The man, the myth,
great. It got 10X. Larry, how we doing?
Fantastic. How you doing?
I'm still off of CN Live high, man. This is great. So
for sure.
So incredible.
No doubt. No doubt.
How many people we got on the call?
Yeah, so it just dropped down. We have 5 right now, but we also have people on YouTube too.
Okay.
So we probably got about 15 right now.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, you guys are talking sales, huh?
Oh, what else is there to talk about on a Wednesday night, right? Sales.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, we were just talking about, the journey, Larry, and, This morning's training, we were talking about, we gave a coffee cup analogy that with every step of the sales process, if you looked at it like we're caffeinating the customer, usually by the time, we knock on the door, most people, they're in the no or they're in the not yet stage, right? No one's answering the door with their credit card. Man, I've been waiting for you. You're my answer to prayer. Here's my credit card. I don't care what the price is. Let's go. We need something to bring them on the journey from, I know you, but I don't like you or trust you yet, to, 30 minutes later, now I know you, I like you, but I still don't trust you, to an hour later, I trust this guy. So when we go for the pre-close, right? Now we've got we've got like, and we've got trust. It's not going to work all the time, right? Nobody said our process is going to work all the time. I just know it's a numbers game. And if we play our cards right and we do the right things consistently, we're going to win most of the time.
Yeah.
And I like winning most of the time. I do, So, just stick to the process. Let your process do the heavy lifting. As you alluded to, Pat, bring in some humor, laugh. Larry's the best. Nod your head.
Yeah.
Do the check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's three groups of customers. There's the ones that are going to buy. If you show up, on time and and sober, you're going to get this deal.
That's right.
We call them lay downs, whatever. But and then there's the people that ain't going to buy, no way, no how. I don't care if Jim Burlison or Zig Ziglar showed up, they ain't going to buy. And usually, there's some condition that would prevent them from buying. Not an objection, because a good salesperson can get over objections, but there's a condition. They don't own the house. They don't have any money. The decision maker is not there. Something. But then there's a group in the middle. They're the biggest group, and those are the people that may buy and they may not buy. It depends on the salesperson.
Absolutely.
The critical variable. Because you get two different salespeople on the same sales team working for the same company selling the same thing. One guy's the top guy, one guy's the bottom guy. Well, clearly the salesperson is the critical variable, right? So, how skilled is the salesperson at closing sales? Well, there's a lot that goes into that. There's confidence, there's how confident are you that, you are making people's lives better with what you do, that you're going to, your company's going to follow through, that you're going to do the right thing, that you're better than, any other option out there. There's enthusiasm, for what you do, because confidence and enthusiasm are contagious, and that with that middle group that may buy or may not buy, a lot of salespeople are giving the homeowner a reason not to buy, and they don't even know they're doing it. There's something that they're doing. They're not listening well. They start talking before the homeowner's done talking. They talk over them. They're defensive listening. They're asking questions, but they don't really care about the answer. Stuff like that people say, okay, I see what kind of guy I got here in front of me. Sometimes it's just really basic, communication skills and being a good human being and being excited and being there for the homeowner, being there for that customer, not being there for a commission. You're there for them, and they can tell the difference. And, and then there's personality styles and, the questions that you ask and how confidently you ask questions, and you keep it moving along, and you're not afraid to talk about money. You're not afraid for objections come up. Oh, that's a good question. A lot of people ask the same thing. And in fact, this is what they found. And I agree. Don't you? Just being confident and, with what you're doing, and be comfortable in your own skin, in front of a wide variety of people. with a wide variety of personality styles and backgrounds and so forth. And if you're that kind of person, then, you add the system to it, right? The 10 steps. Now you got structure around, your good intentions and your caring and your confidence and your enthusiasm. And now you got something. And then, you're going to sell the ones that are going to buy, and you're going to sell a great majority of the ones that may or may not buy.
Yeah.
And now you've got, some great results.
Yeah, I think Larry, you commented on an email that I sent out to the group a few days ago, that I don't think I put in if you show up sober. I think I put in if you show up on time, close to on time.
Yeah, I'm being funny, obviously.
Yeah,
but, those people, hey, it's yours to blow this. They got their checkbook in their hand.
Yes.
They're busy. They just need to check the box, hire somebody to do
That's
this.
it.
And, yeah.
Yeah, that's 20%. So you're just looking to get, 3 out of 8. And you and I have had this conversation, right? You just got to be better than the next closest good. There's not a lot of best out there. And, if you're trained to be the best, that means you're always going up against good or below average. I'll take those odds every day of the week.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's beating your competitors. Okay. We all want to beat our competitors, right? But then, there's some people that don't buy from anybody. They may have bought, but they weren't impressed with anybody. They didn't get clarity from anybody. They didn't feel comfortable with anybody. So they thought, well, I don't know, I'll deal with it. I'll keep shopping. I'll think about it, and then they just never come back to it and stuff. So you want to beat your competitors, but you want to beat, apathy, right? You want to beat the customers' expectation of what contractors really are. You want to exceed their expectations. And like in our business, I mean, the customer can get an estimate for 4,000 from one person, for 5,000 from another person, and I want to close it, and I'm at 17,000. Because I'm giving more value, and it's based on what they said that they wanted, right? And they can now see that they're not going to get what they said that they wanted with, any other contractor at any other price. And this is really what they want. And they're happy that I came, and that I've got them clear about the project and the results they want, and showed them what they need to get it. So it's, how high is high? Pretty damn high. Nobody really knows, it depends how good you can get. I mean, it's amazing what you can accomplish in any given field. You're selling, washing. Okay. It's amazing what you could do.
It is. Yeah. And we actually did it today, and it's setting yourself up too as the expert, right? Like, so we talked about options that their old exterior cleaning company, hence I said old, right? Because guess what? They closed today because they didn't give them options. There was no gutters on the house. It was running on the pavers. The sand was getting washed out. We addressed that. Like, let's get to the root of the problem. Like we were talking about with contractors, they weren't trying to get to the root of the problem. They were just trying to get that done to get the commission and get out. Whereas, no, let's get to the root of the problem, become the expert in the home, genuinely care for that customer, say, well, actually, I think you should go this route. But again, here's the options, right? And if you give them the right options, they will choose you every time.
Yeah, good stories. Some well-placed stories about, somebody who had the situation that they have, and then they decided to do X with it, which is not your solution. And then this is what happened, and you tell it authentically and sincerely, and then you suggest the right way of doing it. And they're like, wow, yeah, okay, I got the right guy in front of me, and you can make a great sales career with, 3 or 4 really well-told stories.
Yeah. We talk about it a lot. Be a storyteller for sure.
And those same 3 or 4 stories, they don't all have to be yours. Like, I've heard Larry's stories that I have repeated, and I'll let whoever it is know, hey, this isn't my story, but this is what someone shared with me. it just has to be true, right? We want to be ethical. We want to be honest.
Yeah.
And, transparency is key to trust. And like Larry was saying, I don't know if you're going to go into any $17,000 soft wash quotes, but the point is, no matter where you're at, if you're higher than others, when you go into that pre-close, you have so much confidence and so much certainty because you know that your quote includes what they want to have done.
Mhm.
How do you know that? Well, you've asked them questions. What's important to them?
Yeah,
What
it's
would they like to see the
amazing.
final outcome to be?
Right. It's amazing how many don't ask those questions. The
Right.
customer says, "Yeah, I want my siding cleaned," and the contractor gives them an estimate on cleaning their siding without asking other questions and making a custom scope, right? That only you're bidding on because you're the only one that found out that they
Mhm.
want this or would like this or this would be great. Or based on your questions, they say, "Oh, you can do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, you can do the stone wall, you can do the roof, you could do whatever it is,
Mhm.
and now you've knocked the other guy out because now they know that they want that, and the other guy didn't bid on that, right? So he's
That's right.
out, he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that. And that's where we go into bidding everything because the customer doesn't know what they need, right? They just see that, maybe the side of the house, it might be the roof needs to be replaced, but they don't know about the underlayment, right? Whatever it may be. You have to set the expectations for the homeowner and bid everything. Knocks that guy out.
Yeah, it's important to do that. Obviously you're arriving there with a certain need in their mind. And then
Mhm.
when we get there through our inspection process, we see other things that may or may not be a need, but we can certainly, right? We're salespeople, right? We create persuasive influence, right? We help create a desire for maybe something that they didn't see as a need before you arrived.
Mhm.
And now that you arrived through your inspection process and through your questions, have you ever considered getting this done at the same time?
Yeah.
What our customers have found is bing, 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 bam, bam, bam. And they're like, you know what? Yeah, you're probably right. I forget who I was talking to on the phone today. And they were talking about they were getting something done and it was a home builder. And they were asking them about their windows, and they said, "Hey, we're going to get the windows done, next year." Well, I'm here, I'm doing the work now. The labor is not going to be less expensive next year, nor is the cost of the materials for the windows. Why don't I at least give you a quote so that way at least you know what it is now versus what it would be later?
Mhm.
Okay, we'll get a quote. And what do you think they did? They bought new windows.
yeah. You got to get permission to present.
Right.
Because if you just if they say, "Hey, I want my roof clean," right? And now you're presenting a proposal for the roof, the siding, the deck, the driveway, and everything, right? They're now, what are they thinking? They're thinking this guy is trying to sell me everything. This
Mhm.
guy is trying to sell me what he wants to
And
sell
not
me,
me.
right?
Yeah.
So you have to get permission to present, and then you can present with immunity, right?
Mhm.
You don't get people thinking that. So how do you get permission to present? You ask questions. You say, "Okay, you'd like the roof clean. Okay. Hey, how about the siding? Would you like the siding clean?" And you could preface that with, showing him how dirty it is, or take a look, or notice how dirty it is, or
Mhm.
especially dirty under this overhang, and point it out to them. And so you give them some information, right? And then ask, "Would you like the siding cleaned as well?" And they say, "You know what? I guess you're right. Yeah, okay, include the siding. Okay, all right. And now, how about the deck?" "No, I think the deck's okay." "Okay, well, I think the deck could really benefit from being cleaned, but it's entirely up to you. Would you like to know what the deck costs to clean while we're here? Because it's a lot cheaper to have more things cleaned while
Mhm.
we're here and have the rig all set up. Would you like to at least know what the deck costs to clean?" All right. Yeah, you can tell me, but I'm yeah. Okay. Let me know. All right. So now you have permission to present. So when you present the number, they don't think you're just trying to sell them more than they really wanted, right? Now, let's say they say, no, I don't want the deck clean. You say, okay, it could use it now, but you could have it done later. If you ever wanted to know what the deck costs to clean while I'm here, just let me know and I can let you know what the deck. No, I'm good. I don't need the deck clean. So now you're not going to bid the deck, right? Because you're losing your credibility.
Agree.
So you've asked, they gave you a clear answer. No, this is the line. No.
Done.
Most people though would say, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. You could let me know.
Yeah.
Right. But you have to have permission to present because you want to maintain above all is your credibility.
Mhm.
Right. And that you are here for them. You're not here for you. And, you're asking questions to not, you're not trying to manipulate the homeowner's answers. You're trying to discover what they are.
Mhm.
That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to discover
Huge.
what they are. And there's a difference in how you ask questions and how you respond to their answers. And if they like how this communication is going, they say, hey, this guy is fair. He cares. He's concerned. He knows his stuff, right? And he is listening to me and he's paying attention to what I want, then your credibility is intact and you're moving it forward, right? But anytime that chain is broken, then they stop listening, right? And now it's just like, let's get through the motions, give me the estimate and I'll get back to you,
Like, it sounds good. And they're the people that are like the S, right? They don't want to say no. Sometimes they're like, yeah, it sounds good. We're going to give you a call. And you never hear from them because you broke.
That's, it takes an hour to build trust and you can lose it in 10 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And look, you got to know we talked about earlier, Patrick, are those people skills, right? You've got to pick up on those cues. And you never know that you planted a seed, possibly when the crew comes out to power wash the house. Now the crew asks again, hey, we noticed the deck in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And, for all for 10 days, the homeowner, the husband and the wife are thinking, maybe we should have went with the deck when Jim was here, and then, John shows up with his crew to do the house. And John says, hey, while we're here,
Mm-hmm.
would you like me to quote you on the deck? We can do it now. It's going to be, you know what? Jim mentioned something. Yeah, give us a quote. If you can do it now and it works out, let's go ahead and do it. And then even bigger picture, right? As a business owner, like there's one cost that stayed the same through this whole process. That's your marketing cost to get that customer. So now you have their information forever,
Mm-hmm.
forever. And the cost to remarket that lead for a future deck washing is pennies on the dollar compared to what it cost you to get the initial lead. So let's just say the salesman struck out on the deck, the crew struck out on the deck, but now it was your email next spring that cost zero, where, Mr. and Mrs. Jones called you back up and they said, hey man, you guys did a great job on our house. We weren't ready for the deck then, but we sure are now. And that's an easy sale because they already know you, they like you, they trust you, they've done business with you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. There's a phenomena, people they say they're cost conscious. Everybody says they're cost conscious, right? But really they want nice things. So when people want nice things, they want good things. They don't want to do business with somebody they don't like, or they don't want to do business with somebody they don't trust. But once they make a decision to buy anything from you, they're more likely to buy something else. Right?
Second money is always the easiest. Always.
That's right. So, it is true that, if you sold, X and Y, that when your crew shows up, or even before they show up that morning, you could say, hey, Mrs. Jones, I just want to, talk to you again about this deck. We said it was $300 more, and we can just take care of it while we're there. Would you like, John and the crew to take care of that for you? You should absolutely, have efforts like that, on installation day or, cleaning day or whatever it is, to upsell people, because they're more likely to, because now it's not a question of you and a competitor, right? They've already
Right.
decided on you. And then now it's just like, how much benefit do they want? And people want benefits. They want lots of benefits.
Yeah. And we run into too, like we always ask people what their clean is. Everybody's clean is different. All you got to do is look at their car, right? Do they live in their car? Do they clean it every week? So everybody's clean is different. And this rolls into maintenance, right? Like we always say, you're going to treat everything. So treat the house, treat the deck, and then let's get you on a maintenance program. And then that way you don't ever have to get another bid again. And we're going to take care of you. Like once you're family, that's it. There's no minimums. We're going to take care of it. So if they want a patio done the next year, we're going to come out and do the patio. But we want to retreat those things over and over again each year, every 2 years, whatever it may be. And that just keeps building more trust with that customer than reviews, right? And that's a whole nother thing, right? Getting into all of that, reviews and then referrals and so on.
Yeah, dude, when you do that, when you get into a maintenance plan, the cost to retain that customer, like we said earlier, it's pennies on the dollar versus new customer acquisition.
Yeah.
New customer acquisition, that's your biggest expense with marketing, is acquiring a new name with a new email or a new phone number. That's like the biggest expense.
Yeah.
And, when you have these other services, you nurture that customer, you provide wow service. If I had Larry's company come and waterproof my home, and then the next year I'm looking to, add warmth and coziness to my home, and I know I need to get my attic insulated, and I know that's what they do. If they took care of me and waterproofing my home, they're automatically like, I'm probably not even getting another estimate the second time around.
Yeah.
Why would I go through that? I trust them.
Today, Jim, we were doing a quote and we're like, so, Larry Janeski, right? With all things basementy. And the lady's like, my husband loves that guy. And it was hilarious.
Love
So,
it.
Starting with the branding and everything, right? Like the message and like helping their neighbors with this thing, they know they're going to do good on whatever else it is.
Yeah, I told a dealer at one of our breakout sessions, we were talking about marketing. I'm like, there's 4 P's to marketing. There's 4 P's, and these are going to be hard. I don't want you to forget about them. He's like, well, what are they? I said, well, the first one is promote. You got to promote. The second one is you got to promote even more. The third one is you got to promote even more. And just when you think you've promoted yourself enough, you got to promote even more. And that's what Larry has mastered in his market. Right? They all know Larry. He is promoted. He has branded himself. All things basementy. That's Larry, right? And it takes time. That doesn't happen overnight. But, we're in a day and age now. I mean, Larry, if social media was around when you first started, you would have put gas on that fire. You would have been everywhere because it's so available right now. Back when you wanted to promote then, everything had $1 attached to it, a billboard, a radio ad, whatever it is. But today, there's so much you can do organically to promote yourself and to get others on your team to promote your cause.
Yeah.
Looping back to, I know we're up against the clock here. We were talking about, moving homeowners through the journey. One of the greatest powers we have as human beings is the ability to change our mind. And we get to change our mind when we get new information. I call you up to power wash my home, but now you're giving me new information about my deck, my driveway, my back patio, whatever it might be, my roof. And when you give me that new information, now I get to make a new decision based on the new information you're giving me. And so many salespeople fail to give that new information. And those are the ones, as Larry was saying, well, why is it you've got salespeople that work for the same company, have the same products, same management, same sales process, same everything, but one is achieving here and the other is achieving here? It's just this guy, when he walks in, or this gal, when she walks in, she's willing to have those conversations with the homeowner early, with the check-ins, to get that new to give that new information, to get new results. And, you know, look, you got to be sold on your product. If you're sold on your product, you'll talk about your product.
Yeah.
If you're sold on your company, you'll talk about your company in a way that's uniquely different than everybody else is talking about their product and their company. And like I said, I don't have to be better than 30. I just got to be better probably than one guy or one gal, because the other one or two that are coming out, the odds are they suck.
There's a lot of different elements to selling well, and you know, there's different styles that can work. You know, we don't have to all sound exactly like each other. I could sound different than Pat, who sounds different than Jim, and we're all three, you know, successful. But you know, there's lots of internal elements like ambition, right? And not wanting to lose, right? You know, if you're happy with a given income, as long as you make it, you're okay. That's not a great attitude for a salesperson, right? A salesperson wants to sell everything, but at the same time, they know it's cause and effect, right? The money is the effect, but the cause is, you know, your people skills and your discipline and your energy and your follow through and your caring and your learning and, you know, implementation, you know, execution every day. But, you know, it's like, well, what kind of person are you? You know, and that's a pretty, like, okay, that's now a personal question, right? Well, who are you being when you show up, right? Your tone of voice, your voice is an amazing instrument, and how you use it, your inflection, your volume, your pace, your pauses, you know, your inner world comes out right in your voice, and people could tell what kind of person are you, and they could tell your level of confidence, if you're BSing them, if you're, you know, if you're comfortable being here, you know, because if you're comfortable, they're going to be comfortable, right? If you're not comfortable with yourself, then it's hard for people to be comfortable with you, you know? So all these things go into it. And so, you know, I've been working on me for, you know, my entire career, right? And, you know, constantly listening to audiobooks and reading books and just getting perspective on the world. Try to, you know, don't listen to the news, for God's sakes, and, you know, and just try to improve yourself and be a more valuable human being. And then you show up, and it's amazing the conversations you can get in, and, you know, the connections that you can make, that, like, and people just like, okay, you know, there's this moment in the sales, you know, process when they just give up they put down the wall that they had up protecting themselves from crappy contractors, right? And they say, all right, here, he's my guy. I like this guy. I can deal with this guy. And their whole, you know, the words they use change, and their tone of voice changes, and they're relaxed, and they start asking questions about particulars of the job. Yeah. Right. Those are, you know, they're giving you closing signals, right? Closing signs, right? Yeah. You know, they say, so when you do that, you know, does this, you know, do these things have to be moved, or, you know, do I have to worry about the plants, or, you know, do I have to take the screens out? Like, you know, they're in, you know, they're asking those questions. Okay. So now it's like, okay, you know, continue, care, answer their questions, and then keep selling, right? Keep selling, right? Because they're, you know, that they've in their mind, they've decided to buy, but they're responding to who you are, right? You can have a system all day long. We've teach people systems and they fail. Yeah. Well, of course, there's a lot of people who don't follow the damn system. We tell them the system, and they go like this in the sales meeting, and then they go out there and they do whatever the heck they want. They're freestyling, and then they come back and say, I did it, boss. I did it. And your numbers are bad. But, it's like, who are you being while you're doing it?
Mhm.
Right? Are you being a person that other people respond to? Do you have that confidence about you, that aura about you, and humility at the same time, right? You don't want to be some, like a big shot, right? A know-it-all or anything like that. People hate that too. So, this is alchemy of how you're presenting yourself. And it's really difficult to fool people, right? You can't be one kind of person and another kind of salesperson. That's really hard. You'd be an imposter, right? You're trying to be somebody you're not, and it often comes off as phony, So, I would say, work on you. Like this is going to sound crazy, and some of you that have, showed up in this call. First of all, you didn't expect to see me, but I'm going to just tell you some things like, look, if you got problems in your personal life, you got to take care of them, man.
Absolutely.
You can't be dragging that stuff around, from house to house, right? You're wearing it on your face. Like, you got to take care of your relationships, take care of your family, take care of your health, right? Get enough sleep, eat right, make you proud, right? Make you proud. And always strive to be better, beat yesterday, and be a good, and, proud of yourself and have some self-esteem. And that, that shows up, right? That you carry that everywhere. You can't escape it. Yeah. So, stuff like that, because if that's messed up and it's hitting your confidence and your authenticity and all of this, everything else will suffer, right? No matter what else you try, it's like who you're being while you're doing it is a problem. People are just sensing, they have that spidey sense, especially women, right? They're like, something's off with this guy, something is not lining up. Something doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is. And honestly, I'm just not comfortable, hiring him and dealing with him, right?
I gotta talk to my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't make the connection. And Larry, you nailed your general session. I wasn't in any of your breakouts. I was in my other building doing mine, but you had everything planned out, and your intention was not to just communicate with us. I mean, there's 1,000 people in the audience, right? Your intention was to connect with us through how you communicated. Same thing with David. And the same thing was true with me with the forums and the Saturday breakouts. Same thing with this call today, right? We're looking to not just communicate. Whoever is on this call listening in and watching, we're looking to make a connection. Mm-hmm. And, our customer, whether it be one person, female, male, really doesn't matter, right? That's our audience. The tone of voice, as you were saying, the inflection, how fast we're speaking, how slow we're speaking. I'm not going to deal and speak the same way with a female who's in her 80s as I will a male in his 30s. It's going to be a little bit different.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to sound similar, but it's going to be different.
Yeah.
Because I have a different audience, and I'm looking to make a connection with those people. So.
For sure. Well, I know we can talk about this stuff
for
days. So we are coming right up on time. So I just want to thank you guys for hopping on today on Community with Closers. Jim, I know we've been wanting to do this forever. We got so much coming down the pipeline. So we're definitely going to be doing it again. Larry, thank you. I mean, just leaving with that note, who are you going to be, tomorrow, the next day, bettering yourself, showing up? And if you do, honestly, anybody that's in this call, if you got something going on at home, fix that tomorrow, right? Because it's going to help you in the home, sell more jobs, be authentic. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you guys for being on another Community with Closers. Take it, implement it, and we will see you next Wednesday at 8:30.
Hey, guys, thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.